So let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the fabric in the room. We are going to be cutting out fabric with our Cricut machine. Maker or Explore series, it can cut fabric. But before I go too far, I do want to tell you that you can also get this design over here for free by joining my mailing list. I have it in the 15-inch pillow here. You can see how it's a bit beefier. And I also have coasters, which are the 5-inch size, and I have them in 4 different leaf colorings, so you can have a whole forest going on around your home. Just sign up for my email newsletter and you'll be able to download this pattern for free. The primary material that we're using today is quilting fabric. You can see it on the walls behind me. If you go into Joann Fabrics or another quilting shop, there's just going to be rows and rows and rows of it. You can use pretty much all of that. It's going to feel like a heavier weight dress shirt when you touch it. That's a good idea to tell you whether you have what you want in your hand. So we're going to be cutting out fabric with our Cricut, which may be not something you've done before. If you're using a Cricut Maker, it's a breeze. That's literally why I have the Cricut Maker. Just use your fabric mat and that brayer to get everything down and stuck before you cut it out with your rotary blade. If you don't have a Cricut Maker, it's okay. There are so many different ways that you can make your machine cut fabric. So let me talk to you about them. You only need like one special tool, which is this, freezer paper. Freezer paper is thick, kind of butcher paper, and it comes on this big roll here, and one side of it is kind of shiny. It has the thinnest layer of plastic on it, and when you iron it to your fabric, it gets stuck together, and basically your fabric becomes cardstock. And then you can cut your fabric out just like you would cardstock. It's super easy and fun. Now you do have to make sure that your fabric is not going to move around too much, because if your fabric moves too much, you're going to still have problems getting it cut. So either you should use a strong grip mat to make sure that fabric does not move, or you can absolutely use a standard grip mat that's not completely out of sticky yet. A good standard grip mat will totally work. Now, if you still have some problems getting your fabric to hold still, or you just don't want to risk it, or maybe you don't have a standard grip mat that's very sticky anymore, don't worry, I got you covered. You're going to actually take this freezer paper again and put it on the other side of the fabric as well. So basically you're going to be making a fabric sandwich with freezer paper, which turns it into medium to heavyweight cardstock. And then you can use any mat. You can use a light grip mat that's barely sticky anymore, because that paper sticks to everything so well. Once you have your fabric bonded to the freezer paper on one side or both, all you do is stick it down to your mat. I still like using a brayer, but as long as it's good and stuck, it'll be just fine. And cut it out with your fine point blade or your bonded fabric blade. Now, the difference between the bonded fabric blade and the fine point blade is really just like fabric scissors and the scissors in the junk drawer. Those scissors in the junk drawer cut everything, right? They cut paper, they cut twine, they cut everything you come across. And that's what the fine point blade does. Now, your fabric scissors, they're still just scissors, right? The reason that they're fabric scissors and the reason they work so well is because they only get used on fabric. So that's why the fine point blade that's designed for bonded fabric is pink. It's your fabric scissors, that you only use it for fabric, but it's actually the same thing. It's the same blade, the same housing, everything else. It's just so you only use it on fabric so it stays nice and sharp. So you can use your fine point blade or you can use your bonded fabric blade. Either one works. Don't forget that by signing up for my newsletter, you can get the maple leaf pattern that's back here on the shelf. I have 4 different leaf colorways, and you can use these colorways in either the large pillow or coasters, so you can have every color of fall represented in your home. If you're ready to learn more about using your Cricut for quilting, head over to my website and check out the different resources that I have. I have different quilting patterns that you can download that are already set up for the Cricut. And I also have like a primer on how to get started with Cricut quilting and more information about quilting so that you can learn about quilting and learn about how to do it better with your Cricut. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Alice the Fabric Ninja. Happy sewing.